Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Mina residents recount shock after gun battle between security operatives and a suspected terrorist. Supreme Court to deliver judgment on presidential election appeals on Thursday. Jos Court adjourns trial of suspected killers of Army General. On the foreign scene, Israel strike kills 8 Syrian troops, hit Aleppo airport. Many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Now, residents of Beganu area of Mina in Niger State have expressed shock over Tuesday's gun battle between security operatives and a suspected terrorist in the area. The shootout, which lasted several hours through the night, caused unrest among residents of the community who described the incident as unusual and terrifying. Abubakar Akote tells us more.
Some residents say it was the first time they heard the sound of a rocket launcher reportedly used by the suspect to bring down part of the fence of his house through which he escaped. A house directly opposite that of the suspect was badly damaged, while other houses had their window glasses and ceilings shattered by the vibration arising from the sound of the RPG the suspect reportedly used to create escape routes for himself.
We are in the inner room, me and my family. We now rush down to the parlor. The same thing, we are hearing their voice. All we thought is robbers. So within 15 minutes, we hear a big explosion, and we are here with in the parlor with my family. When the thing hit our building, some of the block touches our body. My wife rushed to, she want to go and open the door, and I hold her, say no, what must happen will happen. We are here, we will not go to anywhere. We can't leave if they come and meet us, fine. If they didn't come, but we will not go out. We now rush to the kitchen. We stay in the kitchen from 11:36 up to 3:30 before we couldn't hear any noise again, no any shooting again. My electronics are here. When the thing fell, it fell down on them. Then it affected the screen of my phone and my wife. That is the thing. And most of our property inside, it broken because of the heavy explosion. That is what really happened.
We don't know much about him. The only thing I know about him is whenever he's passing through my house, he will greet. He normally greeted me in the morning or in the evening when he's passing. Because we don't allow anybody to, he don't even close to people. And he just came here not quite 1 year and some months that he bought the house and came here.
The unfortunate story is from the process of getting land and also getting building in this area. There is no proper check and balance. That is, people who sold these lands are so eager to sell it and get money. And probably because we have the structure of Mayanguas and stakeholders within the area. So you as just a neighbor cannot just come up and say you are questioning why are they selling the lands or why are they selling the property without following due process.
Residents asked the state government to adopt Know Your Neighbor strategy to assist in fishing out bad elements in communities in the states. Abubakar Akote, Trust TV News, Mina.
Now, the surge in bandit attacks in Zamfara State is continuing unabated as more communities report increasing attacks leading to kidnappings and rampage on a regular basis. In Sakajiki village, the bandits attacked the community 3 days in a row without any form of resistance from security operatives. Yushu Adamu captures the mood across some of the affected communities.
The recent peaceful protest staged by some angry youth of Sakajiki village in Kauranamo, the local government area of Zamfara State, over incessant attacks by bandits did not come as a surprise to many residents of the state.
We are living in fears because we could not endure the sufferings under the custody of bandits. Although I am currently managing with my children at an uncomputed building in Gusau. But this is far better than living in the hand of bandits. The bandits attacked our village on one Friday evening. They displaced us. We ran into the bush for safety. Through the bush, we began our journey to Gusau because we could not go back to our village.
Reports from Tsape had it that even on Friday, October 20th, armed bandits have attacked some travelers in Machia village, killing one and injuring several others. Also on Sunday night, October 22nd, the bandits have attacked Kauranamoda town and abducted some residents.
The bandits have killed 3 of my children. They have abducted many villagers during the attacks. On the very day they attacked our village, I was sleeping in the morning when suddenly I heard gunshots from different angles. Before I came out from the room, 3 bandits forced themselves into the room and began to shout at me. They killed some people and carted away our belongings.
Residents of several communities have abandoned their homes and relocated to other places for fear of being attacked by armed bandits, while some residents have relocated to major towns within their localities for safety. Others have moved to Gusau, the state capital.
Bandits have sacked many villagers in my area. You cannot find even a dog in some of the affected villages because the bandits have carted away cows and other domestic animals and forced the occupants to abandon their homes and locate to other places for safety. No village is safe now in the whole Tafe local government. Even Tafe town is not safe because the bandits used to attack the town from time to time. This is the only way the bandits will allow you to live in peace. Whoever wants to live in peace must comply with the bandits' directives. Anybody that resists their orders would daily pay the consequences of his actions.
In Tsape, Anka and Dumaru local government areas of the state, several communities have been sacked by the bandits. The affected villages and towns were deserted as bandits have forced their occupants to relocate to safer places.
At present, only 10% of the populace of Maru local government are residing in their villages and towns. 190% have abandoned their homes for safety. We are not safe at home. We are not safe at market. We are not safe on the roads. In fact, no place is safe in this area.
Until authorities concerned do the needful and curtail banditry in the state, farming, business and education activities would continue to suffer in these parts of Zamfara states. Yushau Adamu, Trust TV, Gusau.
And in Plateau State, a Jos High Court trying suspected killers of Army General Idris Alkali has adjourned sitting to November 6 to take additional witnesses after testimonies of 2 prosecution witnesses by Major General Umaru Ibrahim and Major Arashinga Bulus. The late General Idris Alkali was killed in Jos back in 2018 while on transit from Abuja to Bauchi. Major General Umaru Ibrahim told the court that the body of the late General Alkali was discovered in Buchwet village, some 10 kilometers from Duradu, where the remains of General Alkali was dumped. Now, the second witness, Major Arashinga Bulus, is serving military officer in the Nigerian Army, also narrated his role in the search and rescue team efforts and confirmed that the 21 suspects have been linked to the killing of the general. Now, the Nigerian Supreme Court has fixed Thursday, October 26, for the judgment on the appeals filed by the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the 2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, and the Labour Party's Peter Obi against the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, which upheld the election of President Bola Tinubu. Atiku and Obi have asked the Supreme Court to set aside the judgment of the Presidential Election Petitions Court, with Atiku presenting documents from Chicago State University to prove that the president was not qualified to contest the election on February 25th. Now, the Supreme Court's Director of Information, Dr. Festus Akonde, on Wednesday says the judgment on the appeals had been scheduled for Thursday, October 26. Now, let's unpack this development a bit further. Joining us live on the News Hour is Kamar Ogundele, Daily Trust News Editor. Good evening, Kamar, and thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour. Now, let's just quickly go through the timeline. October 19, the Supreme Court announced that it will commence hearing on October 23rd. And then after that hearing commenced on October 23rd, it was a very speedy one. And the reserved judgment. Now, just 2 days later, we hear that they announced the judgment or the verdict of the Supreme Court will be delivered on October 26th. First of all, your initial thoughts on how fast this whole development is moving.
Well, the development of the Supreme Court is not a new thing. And the Apex Court of the land, there have been several instances where the court will deliver its judgment, and it will reserve the reasons for arriving at the judgment till a later time. So that the judgment is coming a few days after the hearing of the case is not really a problem, it's not really an issue. So we will wait till tomorrow, but probably, as it has happened in the past, they will give the judgment, they will give their verdict, and they may later give the reason for arriving at the verdict at a later time.
Now, take us through what the Supreme Court will have to consider. Obviously, the appeal against the ruling of the Petitions Court that pretty much favored President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But in the Atiku camp, for instance, they're also trying to bring in new evidence, as the case was during the commencement.
Well, yes. The Atiku Abubakar tried to, filed a fresh evidence at the Supreme Court, which of course it was objected to by the APC, INEC, and the presidential candidate lawyers. So the first thing that the court will have to determine tomorrow, among others, is that whether the admissibility of the fresh evidence filed by Atiku Abubakar. Then the court may now later go into determine other issues, like whether the president, the eligibility of the president to contest in the election, the issues around his qualification. Then the court will also determine issues. It will lead to rest the speculation about whether FCT, for you to be validly elected as the president of the country, whether you have to secure 25% of the lawful votes cast in FCT, which the tribunal has already ruled that FCT cannot be more superior than other states. Right. So it cannot be treated differently from other states, that it is part and parcel of the 36 states. It does not enjoy a higher status than other states.
Right. And it's safe to say that basically the work of the Apex Court, not that it is simple, but it's virtually going to be a review of the judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, reviewing the judgment and see whether there were inconsistencies or other things that might lead to an overturn of some of those rulings. So give me a sense of how the rest of the country is reacting to this development as we prepare for what promises to be a very intense day for all parties involved. Yeah, just give us a sense of what you're making of this new development,
okay, yes.
And how the rest of the country is reacting to it.
I think, number one, the judgment tomorrow, we tell Nigerians whether the election conducted on February 25, whether the election will hold or not, whether it will uphold the election or not. Right. Because the argument around the election was that Atiku and Obi, what they want is that they want to be declared as the duly winner of the election. So tomorrow, the court will decide who is truly the winner of the election, the duly winner of the election, And I think that will clear the doubts and speculations about the election, or whether the election substantially comply with the Electoral Act and the Constitution of the country. And I think it will also be a new beginning for the country, depending on who may be the winner. Right. If a new winner is declared, well, it will be a new beginning. If the president is also, this election is also upheld, then it will be a new beginning, because number one, it will remove distractions from him. Then it will also make him to be able to concentrate on the job which he has been elected to do. So for him to be able to deliver on his mandate. Right. And I think it also sort of release a kind of a sooty balm into the country. Then we can move ahead from there.
Right. Whichever way you look at it, this is the bus stop as far as legal jurisprudence is concerned in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it will definitely come to an end tomorrow when the Supreme Court delivers its verdict on all the cases presented before it by all parties involved. Kamaru Gundele, news editor, Daily Trust. Thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Right. Okay, let's move on to some of the day's other news stories now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of 9 new resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for a term of 5 years each, subject to the confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. The presidential spokesperson, Ajuri Ngilale, in a statement released on Wednesday, says the appointment was done in accordance with Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and Section 6 of the Electoral Act of 2022. Now, the new appointees are Isa Shaka, Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Bamidele Agbede, Ekiti State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Jani Adamu Bello, Gombe State Resident Electoral Commissioner, and Dr. Taye Iliasu, Kwara State Resident Electoral Commissioner. Others include Dr. Bumi Omoshe Indemi, Lagos State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Yahya Bello, Nasarawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner, and Professor Muhammad Yelwa as Niger State Resident Electoral Commissioner. Others include Dr. Onugbum Onua, Rivers State Resident Electoral Commissioner, and Abubakar Fawa Dambo as Zamfara State Resident Electoral Commissioner. The statement says President Tinubu expects the new appointees to abide by the highest standard of professional and ethical conduct in the discharge of their duties in accordance with his administration's efforts to facilitate the establishment of a new and sustainable standard of transparent, free, fair, and conflict-free electoral process in the country. Now, the parents of Fwimbe Thomas, a 35-year-old murdered victim by a mob, have recounted the circumstances around his gruesome death in Tudunwada community of Jos North local government area in Plateau State. The family say Fwimbe was falsely accused of committing a crime leading to his gruesome death by mob action, while calling on the police to investigate the matter and bring the perpetrators to book. Ado Musa tells us more.
Fwimbe, who had planned to get married early next year, was on September 25th pelted with stones and sticks to death in his Suzuki vehicle that he used to distribute noodles and drinks to customers by suspected commercial motorcycle riders and some hoodlums on his way to deliver the product to his customers around Tudunwada area. An eyewitness told Trust TV that the deceased was killed by the hoodlums when the commercial riders in their numbers were shouting thief, and people around the area mistook him. The parents explained how the family received the news of the death of their son.
The family got to know about it the second day. He was killed on the 25th. It was on the 26th that we were informed, and that the body was found, and the vehicle with which his own vehicle was also found, but that he was already found killed, dead. So I went with the police, and we saw the body in Plateau Hospital.
Based on what we heard, some people that saw it told us a swarm of machine, Okada, we call it going here in Jos, going people were chasing him along a swamp, motorcycle. They were chasing him. That Barao, thief, Barao. And they just rushed him. You know, based on what I was told. He passed, people saw him. People that know me saw him, but they didn't know it was him. We have relations there. That just these machine people, motorcycle, they were just Barao chasing him. And eventually they overtook him. And what happened is what we heard.
The mother of the victim, who is still mourning the passing of her son, still wonders what her last-born went through before he was killed.
I'm so close to him. He had series of surgeries as a result of some accidents or result of an accident he had with one of his brothers and cousins and uncle. And because of that, he had artificial hip joint. I know Funbe would have jumped out of that place and run and nobody would catch him.
The father, however, called on the police to bring to book whoever is found guilty to serve as a deterrent to others.
And what we want to know, why was he killed? Who killed him?
Okay.
Let there be no life again lost in this manner.
Okay.
Because if we don't do this, it will continue.
The State Police Command, while condemning the incident, described it as unlawful, adding that the command had arrested 6 suspects in connection with the incident, adding that investigation into the matter had been on. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Another reminder that mob justice is no justice at all. Now, the Taraba State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has decried the nefarious activities of kidnappers targeting Christian clergymen and their families. The state chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Taraba State, Reverend Isaiah Magaji, stated this while briefing journalists in Jalingo. Recently, kidnappers have attacked the residence of a clergyman from Ekwa in Mile 6 in Jalingo and other clerics. According to the CAN chairman, the association is concerned about the safety of communities and villages over the persistent attacks by criminal elements across the state. While calling for steadfast prayers by members of the public, the CAN chairman stressed the need for both the federal and state governments to step up security of life and property across the country. The Nigerian Senate on Wednesday considered 2 bills seeking to ban the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and deputy governors of the Apex Bank from participating in politics. The 2 bills passed a second reading on Wednesday during plenary. The 2 bills were sponsored by Sunday Karimi, representing Kogi West Senatorial District, and Darlington Nwokocha, lawmaker representing Abia Central Senatorial District. The lawmakers proposed that Section 9 be further amended to insulate the CBN governor and deputies from participating in politics while serving in office. The Deputy Senate President, Jibril Barrow, thereafter gave the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance 2 weeks to report back to on the CBN Amendment Bill. In the build-up to the presidential election in 2023, APC presidential nomination and expression of interest forms were purchased for Godwin Emefiele, the immediate past governor of the central bank.
Dear colleagues, I rise to move and to lead the debate on a bill to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 and for matters connected therewith. To the Act, to strengthen the bank and make provision for the appointment of a chairman of the board, provide for responsibility to quicken and deepen execution of bank's mandate. This bill seeks to address all anomalies that has hindered the advancement of the Apex Bank to handle the ailing economy of our nation. The thrust of this amendment is to create a people-centered central bank by delivering price and financial system stability.
Mr. President, my own bill also seeks to amend the CBN Act. The area I'm proposing for amendments, there are 5 areas. 1, in my own amendment, I'm proposing that we bring in critical members of the public that will help the CBN in in achieving their goal. I'm proposing that we bring in one, the Auditor General of the Federation, two, the Chairman of FIRS into the board, and lastly, that CIBN, the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, which is the regulatory body for bankers, that they be represented in the board of CBN.
Staying with the Nigerian Senate, Deputy President of the Senate, Jibrin Barau, has sworn in Amos Yohana as the new senator representing Adamawa North Senatorial District. He was inaugurated at the commencement of sitting on Wednesday by Barau, who presided over Wednesday's plenary. Yohana of the People's Democratic Party replaced Elisha Bo, who was sacked by an appeal court last Monday. The Court of Appeal in Abuja, after hearing arguments from both parties, agreed that Yohana, based on Section 137 of the Electoral Act of 2022, the results tendered clearly shows that there was no compliance with the Electoral Act. The court thereafter deducted the invalid votes from the parties and found that Yohana Amos and the PDP won the election of majority of lawful votes cast. Now, the three-member panel, presided over by Justice C. Nwosu, in a judgment ordered INEC to issue a certificate of return to Yohana Amos as validly elected lawmaker for the senatorial district. The Senate has called on the federal government to construct the Dasin Hausa Dam project with a view to finding a permanent solution to the perennial flooding crisis in the country through funding for the project in the 2024 federal budget. The lawmakers also call for the dredging of rivers Benue and Niger, which share a linkage with Lado Dam in the Republic of Cameroon.
The Senate's resolution was in response to a motion presented during plenary on Wednesday. The motion, titled "Urgent Need to Address the Recurring Issue of Flood-Induced Damages Caused by the Release of Water from Lango Dam in Cameroon," was sponsored by Senator Binus Yaroe and 16 others. Yaroe had in his lead debate noted that a large portion of landmass of Adamawa, Taraba, Benue and Kogi states lie along the river Benue bank, which is often flooded every rainy season. This comes as a result of the natural runoff and discharges mainly from the Lango Dam.
More further, that the communities living in the four-member river basin, river basin plains, engage in the cultivation of different crops, both in the wet and dry seasons.
Contributing to the debate, other lawmakers emphasized the need for the dredging of the river Benue, noting that only such will bring a permanent solution to the problems of flooding in the affected areas.
Billions of naira of properties are in serious danger in this community of nation. And Mr. President, if dredging of this river Niger, river Benue and all of it will be a permanent solution for all of it, it is better we start now. Just last week, I went to hundreds of communities along Mongole River. Mongole River is attributed to Benue River. As a flooded, and this has been happening year in, year out. When the Benue River is flooded, it does not allow water from Mongole to go to the river. And then washes away other communities.
The Senate, in its resolution, urged the federal government to intervene through the Ecological Fund Office to construct some of the flood prevention structures such as dikes, embankments, levees, and flood measuring devices at key points along the river Benue bank to address the menace of flooding. Recall that the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) had earlier issued an alert over the threat of rapid flooding along the rivers Niger and Benue, owing to the release of water from Lango Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. Rashidat Yusuf, for Trust TV News.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we take a look and tell you the story of the confessions of the man who cried wolf. More on this and many other stories coming up ahead after the break.
right. You too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the Federal Government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy Operations Fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
Welcome back to the news. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Mina residents still in shock after security operatives engaged suspected Boko Haram terrorists in a gun battle. Supreme Court to deliver judgment on presidential election appeals on Thursday. Now, ahead of the November 11 governorship election in Bayelsa State, the APC governorship candidate Temipire Silva is facing yet another hurdle as the Independent National Electoral Commission excluded his name and his running mates after releasing an amended list of governorship candidates in the state governorship exercise. Now, the development has unsettled supporters of the APC who have been connecting the development with the party's misfortunes in the 2019 governorship election. Now, the removal of Temipire Silva from the list is in connection with the October 10th Federal High Court order that disqualified him from participating in the Bayelsa State governorship election. Elsewhere, the Independent National Electoral Commission has called on accredited observers to strictly adhere to the Code of Conduct for election observation ahead of the off-season November 11 governorship election exercise in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo States. Now, Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, gave the charge during the quarterly consultative meeting between the Commission and civil society organizations in Abuja.
According to the INEC Chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, the Commission has so far accredited 145 organizations who will be deploying 7,896 observers for the election. Yakubu, however, laid the fears of the CSO over their concerns on the issue of security, assuring them of the safety of all persons that will participate in the elections and the protection of the process. The INEC chairman also promised that the Commission will appeal to the security agencies to grant CSOs unhindered access to the voting and collation locations during the elections.
In previous elections, civil society organizations have expressed concern about the safety of persons involved in elections, as well as the protection of the process, including the polling units and collation centers. Similarly, civil society organizations have on several occasions urged the Commission to intercede with the security agencies to grant you unimpeded access to voting and collation locations. I want to reassure you that we will continue to do so as we engage with the security agencies both at the national level and in the 3 states.
In a remark, the representative of Justice and Equity Organizations, Tunde Bafosho, urged the electorate in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa State to come out en masse and cast their votes without fear of molestation. He also called on INEC to ensure adequate security on election day.
With our experience for the excellent work they did during 2023 general election, the forthcoming Imo and Bayelsa State and Kogi State off-cycling governorship elections will also be credible with adequate and transparent credible arrangement already put on ground by Independent National Electoral Commission. So it is our candid appeal to the voters, the electorates, to ensure that they come out en masse on 11 November 2023 to perform their civic right and ensuring that they vote for the candidate of their choice.
The ANEC chairman also briefed the CSOs on the commission's level of preparedness for the Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi governorship elections during the consultative meeting.
President Bola Tinubu has described the death of former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Adamu Fika, as a great loss to Nigeria. The president, who eulogized the late Fika, commended his contributions in reshaping Nigeria's public service sector, while describing him as an agent of unity and progress of the country. The late Wazirin Fika has been buried according to Islamic injunctions in Kaduna on Wednesday. Bello Musa reports.
The remains of the late Adamu Fika, who died on Tuesday, was brought to Sultan Bello Mosque for funeral prayers.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum.
After the prayers, which led by Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, the remains of the deceased were laid to rest at the Unguwar Sarki Cemetery in Kaduna. President Bola Tinubu, represented by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribado, described the late Adamu Fika as a hero that worked for the betterment of the country.
Yes, on behalf of our president, part of the delegation of Mr. President, his own condolences and his own to share the moment of sorrow with the family and everyone. The loss of a very important, titanic, one of the best in terms of our heroes who helped to shape the country, public service and so on. Waziri Fika was a wonderful Nigerian, a fulfilled life. He contributed immensely to what we have today as a government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are here on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his team, including Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, Chairman of Nigerian Pilgrims Board. It's a big loss, but at the same time, we celebrate his life, a fulfilled life and an accomplished human being. We are grateful to God for his service, and we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him and give him Al-Jannah Firdaus.
Nigerians from far and near who attended the funeral prayed for the deceased.
It's a very nice person, one of the northern elders that we know. Humble person, one of the elders, Alhaji Adamu Fika, Wazirin Fika, an elderly person, a gentleman. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. We pray to Almighty Allah to grant him Jannatul Firdausi.
Well, he will be remembered for his contribution to the nation. He had headed many important posts in the country, and he has contributed a lot. He is a respected leader who is always advising young ones to grow and become important people. We will remember him for his fatherly advice.
He did a lot. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive his shortcoming and to give him the paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make his grave Rawdah Jannah.
The elder statesman Adamu Fika died at the age of 90 and was buried according to Islamic rite in Kaduna. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured Muslims and Christians of the FCT administration's readiness to sustain the annual fund for the maintenance of the National Mosque and the National Christian Center in Abuja. The minister made the pronouncement while hosting a delegation of religious leaders in his office in Abuja.
of those two assets. If not so, we have no business to go and use government funds to go and maintain religious centers.
Christian Association of Nigeria, Your Excellency, we know you, and we know that you are not a terror to good works. We therefore see your appointment as well-deserved and well-intentioned to make life easy for people living in the FCT by bringing rapid positive transformation. We believe that with you in the leadership of FCT, residents and visitors will soon be proud of a peaceful and beautiful environment.
We want to reiterate to Your Excellency that our doors are always open and ready for whatever assignment, engagement that can take your administration in the FCT to greatness, inshallah.
Staying with developments in the Federal Capital Territory, the police has paraded a suspect accused of making false testimony over the disappearance of his private parts, a situation that led to the death of the falsely accused victim. Now, the police has also paraded suspected One Chance syndicate notorious for robbing unsuspecting commuters of their valuables across the capital city. Noel Sampson tells us more.
Allegation of Mawu theft often leads to jungle justice for would-be accused. Imam Daladi was arrested by the police for faking Mawu theft. His actions allegedly led to the lynching of one Tijani Yakubu to death by irate youths. Doctors later confirmed that Imam's organ was intact and not stolen as he falsely claimed.
We touched me then, I didn't see my private part. The man starting deny. Before people come, they say I should pull myself. And I pull myself, quite well I didn't see my penis. So then I took her to the station. They still say I should pull up inside the station, I pull up. So the policemen, they are aware that yes, it's true. Then I said to him, they should move up to hospital to go and do the test.
Police Commissioner Aruna Garba paraded other suspected criminals arrested by the command. Items recovered from them include stolen vehicles, mobile phones, locally made pistols, flat screen television sets, wristwatch, laptops, live cartridges, among other items.
The FCT Police Command newly created Operation Sting and also Anti-One Chance Squad in an effort to rid the city of one chance activities, carry out a coordinated operations and impounded 9 vehicles. Those are the vehicles you are seeing here. You can see most of them have tinted glasses.
Some of the suspects paraded speak about their involvement in the crime they are accused of committing.
I got a call from my friend. I should help him to go and draw vehicle for somewhere, and I help him go there and we draw the vehicle, park it on our compound. So after that, I hear a knock from a police, and I come out. I saw policemen, 4 policemen. They said this was their stolen vehicle. Why we get it? And I told them it is my friend called me that I should help him to go and do the car. So they asked me about it. I took them to his residence. They arrest him.
I stole 1 laptop and the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the S9.
So how do you feel now?
Sir?
How do you feel now?
Sir, I'm feeling guilty conscience.
They tell us say if you pick am, if you finish am, more go. If you finish am, they will call us for phone. Make them come pick am, more come pick am.
Okay, you drop the passenger for the thieves.
Yeah.
Then you come back and carry the passenger after they have robbed them.
Yes.
So how many people you don't do like that before?
Me and only 2 cases.
The FC Police Commander has reaffirmed its commitment to keeping the city free from criminals. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, mixed reactions continue to trail the establishment of the Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation Trust Fund by the federal government of Nigeria, designed to address socioeconomic difficulties in the country. In Dutse, the Jigawa State Capital residents welcomed the development while expressing reservations and concern regarding corruption and how it may hinder the success of the new initiative. Trust TV's Adamu Imam tells us more.
The federal government, through the humanitarian ministry, approved the fund to the tune of $5 billion after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu to address the perennial poverty throughout the country. Some Nigerians believe that if care is not taken, the program will still be a mirage to the less privileged. Now that they have initiated this move, I think with due process, it's a good one. If they had done what is right all this while, this move would have started. But because fairness is not in their calendar, and implementation is another issue as well, maybe some few individuals will continue to benefit, but not the actual beneficiaries. That's the usual occurrence in Nigeria.
30% is going to come out from federal government, and the rest of 70% is going to come out from private sectors and international donors. So this is a very wonderful program that will reduce poverty drastically in this country.
However, pointed that previous social investment programs to address poverty did not go well with many in the country due to corruption on the part of Nigerians saddled with the task of executing them.
It's a very good platform which is going to help a lot of people. But the challenges now is the corruption. Because if there is not a good coordinator, it will not reach up to the poverty people. That is the less privileged, or to be precise. So those are the kind of challenges I think definitely they're going to face. So I expect the federal government to, find a way of tackling that aspect.
We hope that Mr. President will continue to bring new innovation and new system that will reduce poverty in this country.
According to Humanitarian Affairs Minister Beta Edu, the fund is expected to be generated annually from the government, donor agencies, the private sector, and other innovative forms of resource mobilization. She added that the governing board will supervise the implementation of the fund and involve key stakeholders that are relevant to the process. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. We take a moment's break. We'll be back with more stories shortly. Join us again.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not about you
in itself. Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back to the news. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has opened its case before Justice Obiora Egwuatu at the Federal High Court, Abuja, against a British national, James Nolan, who jumped bail in 2022. Counsel for the EFCC, Balasanga, led the first prosecution witness, Temitope Erinomo, an assistant chief complaint officer with the Anti-Graft Agency. Erinomo, who works in the Special Control Unit against money laundering, told the court that he was part of the investigating team in the criminal charge filed against Miket Project City Services Limited and the British national. Nolan, a director in the Process and Industrial Development Limited, known as PNID, jumped bail and stopped attending court proceedings last year. Although Nolan was not in court during the sitting, his lawyer, Michael Ajara, who was present, however, told the court that he was indisposed. Hence, he would not be able to cross-examine the first prosecution's witness. The Palestinian embassy in Nigeria is harping on the need for understanding among Nigerians over the ongoing Israeli-Hamas conflict in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdallah Shawez, while addressing journalists on Wednesday in Abuja, says far more than 6,000 Palestinians have lost their lives, with about 12 hospitals and 32 health centers out of service due to Israel's onslaught on the Gaza Strip.
The total number of murders since October 7th reached more than 6,000, including half of them are children and women, while 1,800 citizens sustain various levels while more than 18,000 citizens sustain various levels of injuries. 68 of the health crew killed, while 100 injured. 12 hospitals and 32 health centers were out of services due to the direct attack or running out of fuel.
In a related development, the Israeli Defense Ministry says airstrikes by its military have killed 8 Syrian troops and also hit Aleppo's airport. According to the ministry, the first strike was in response to an earlier rocket fire. Now, it said hours later, Israeli forces struck Aleppo's airport in the north as regional tensions continue to simmer over Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Pro-Hezbollah fighters in Syria's south have also engaged cross-border fire with Israel several times over the past week. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a Britain-based monitor with wide network of sources on the ground in the war-ravaged country, puts the number of the dead soldiers at 11, including 4 officers. Israel's army said its fighter jets struck military infrastructure and mortars belonging to the Syrian army in response to launches towards Israel on Tuesday. Now, for the latest in sports, Adeni Ajishafe has the update.
The development of schools and grassroots sport has been identified as a missing piece if Nigeria is to sustain our ongoing effort at growing all phases of sports in Nigeria. This is the view of the National Association of Physical and Health Education, Recreation, Sports and Dance, NAFA-SD, which aims to promote efficiency in the teaching of physical and health education in schools while canvassing for a holistic approach towards nurturing young talents discovered in various sports through physical and health education in schools. Suleiman Omeza, a lecturer in human kinetics at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, said deliberate policies are needed to automate the reversal in the dwindling fortunes of schools and grassroots sport. Omeza, who is also the Secretary General of Nigerian Referee Association (NRA), said games masters in schools are to spot talent early, brush them up and turn them over to trained coaches.
I am here to help improve the awareness of our games masters mistress on how to get to the grassroots and get our young boys and girls into sports, building them on how to identify talents so that it can be handed over to the coaches of athletes on all the various games, so that those children too could be nurtured for the nation's benefit.
The National Association of Physical and Health Education, Recreation, Sports and Dance, led by Bola Adeyanju, had informed the Minister of Sport about the programs of the body, which include training physical and health education teachers across Nigeria in Abuja. Deputy Director, Coordinating Sport, FCT Secondary Education Board, spoke on PHE teachers having the requirements to teach the subjects in schools.
We're here to
attend this workshop that is meant to educate our physical and health education teachers who are directly dealing with our students in the classrooms. Most of them do not have the requisite understanding of teaching, because some have read physical education but have negated their work, handed over the work to other people who are non-professional to do it. Against this background, the board find it necessary to organize this workshop so that they can be sensitized, they can be educated, and given the right frame of understanding to be able to inculcate the knowledge to the students.
Minister of Sport Development John Owa Eno believes school sport has to be given the buy-in it deserves if Nigeria is to take its rightful place as a leading sports nation in Africa and the world at large. The minister expressed willingness to partner the National Association for Physical and Health Education, Recreation and Dance to drive physical consciousness towards ensuring a productive and healthy nation. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, that's our package for you on the news tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Feel free, as always, to follow us across our social media platforms to keep up with our contents, and you can visit trusttv.com for the latest news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From the rest of the team, thank you for watching the News Hour, and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.